All right, Ray. So we have this from Automotive News that auto finance experts expect calmer waters for delinquency this year, and I call BS on this. I think this is absolutely not going to be the case. Right now, we're already sitting at delinquency rates that are all-time highs. And it's amazing to think about this because we have higher delinquency rates, we have higher repo rates right now than we had back in 2008 when everything was blowing up, when the economy was going into the toilet. It's worse right now in the car market for these auto loans than it was back then. So I don't see anything that's going to get any better over the next 12 to 18 months that's going to help alleviate this problem. And really, what you see is all these delinquencies, they're typically going to happen a year, 2 years after a lot of these people buy their cars. And what was happening 12 months ago? What was happening 18 months to 24 months ago? Well, people were paying elevated prices, even more than we see right now, on their vehicles. That means that their monthly payments from a year ago are higher than what they could get into a car right now. So this is a bad sign, I think, still going forward. And I would say that these auto finance experts, I think they're wrong.
I tend to agree with you. I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong for a multitude of reasons. One, um, there was that movie Airplane. I don't know if you remember that movie. Lloyd Bridges was in it, and there was a famous line in there about, well, the shit hitting the fan. Okay, and I think as far as inflation's concerned, the shit's about to hit the fan. Okay, you can't buy eggs because you can't find them, but if you could find them, they're like $1 an egg these days. They're like $12 a dozen. The cost of everything seems to be going way up. Effective wages seem to be going way down. There's, I don't know what's about to happen with unemployment, but if there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of government jobs that are about to be lost, well, those are people that participate in the economy. And if they're on unemployment, they're not going to be able to buy things. So I think we're going to see unemployment go up. I think we're going to see inflation continue to go up. And as more and more people lose their jobs, that'll mean there'll be more and more people that have to make a choice between housing, food, or making their car payment. And I'm pretty sure housing and food comes before that damn car payment. So I don't know. I don't see how the waters are calmer. I think the waters are rougher than they've ever been. And I don't see anything that indicates to me, at least moving forward, where things would calm down. I just don't see it. Do you?
So my curious thing of what's going to happen throughout the year is that we see that a lot of these manufacturers, a lot of these dealers are struggling to sell vehicles, and that means prices should come down. But then we have this X factor of potential tariffs that are coming to the system, and I don't know what the percentage is going to be from Mexico, Canada. Maybe it's 25%. Maybe we come in a little bit lower than that if we get a deal negotiated. But in my opinion, there's going to be something. Something is going to happen, and it's going to stick for however long it's going to stick. And I think at the front end of these tariffs, you're going to have manufacturers that try to get higher prices out of their vehicles, but I believe in the long term, they're not going to be able to. They're going to have to add incentives to take it down where consumers, but I don't, whatever happens in that, I don't think prices are going to be able to come down the way that they're moving down a little bit right now. So, what I'm hearing from you is that not only do you feel like vehicle prices are going to continue to climb a little bit from here because of the X factor that's working itself in the market right now, but also you don't see the price of eggs. You don't see any of the inflation data that's going to take a turn for the better for consumers. So you see the price of everything going up, as well as at least vehicle prices going up a little bit or staying the same. In which case, the buying power is going to remain exactly the same. That would lead me to believe that maybe we get some kind of ease on some of these prices for new vehicles. But I don't know where we're going with this. Either way, it's either higher living expenses or it's higher cost of vehicles. Either way, delinquency rates are not going down from where they are right now.
I don't see how they do. I just I know Zach and I are always trying to read between the tea leaves.
Yeah.
I don't know what these experts are seeing that would indicate to them that that delinquency rates wouldn't continue to climb. I think there are more people today finding it more difficult to meet all their needs based on what they earn than in the past. And as long as that's the case, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time in my life I've ever been wrong. But if I don't think I'm wrong, I think people are struggling mightily with figuring out how to handle all their expenses. We know that consumer debt is at the highest level it's ever been at, whether you're talking about mortgages, whether you're talking about automotive loans, whether you're talking about credit card debt, whether you're talking about personal loans. When it's all added up, it's higher than it's ever been. What does that indicate to you? It indicates to me that people are living well above their means. Okay. So if people are living well above their means, at a certain point, something's going to hit. And that hit is going to be they're either going to stop making a car payment, they're going to stop making a mortgage payment, they're going to stop making a credit card payment. But when they stop making whatever payments it is that they're going to stop making, that's going to increase delinquencies, whether it be car loans, credit cards, or mortgages. So I don't see where it gets better.
And here's the thing. Here's the data that they're leaning into to say that this might get better. It says delinquency rates likely will plateau in 2025. This is what they're saying, and might even come down a little bit. Might come down a little bit. But the reason why they're saying that is because the car buyers' average credit scores are getting better. But here's the thing. The reason why the average car buyers' credit scores are getting better is because the people that don't have good credit scores, they can't afford all the groceries and to be able to buy a new car. So you're taking those buyers out of the market, and what's left, it's only the people that have better incomes, that are better with money, that do have a lot of more. They have more disposable income, so their credit scores are naturally going to be better when you take those other buyers out of the market. When you have a 50, 60, $70,000 vehicle, yeah, I mean, people from the lower end of the spectrum that could afford new vehicles years ago, they're just taken out of the system. So yes, credit scores on average should be moving up, but it's because you have a smaller segment of the market that is able to buy. And I can tell you that really the data that they're getting this from, they're not scraping the whole market, because usually the subprime of the subprime of the subprime, that data is not going to get released to any of these entities. A lot of that is coming from these buy here, pay here car dealers, where when they go repo the car, when a customer gets delinquent, they're just going to go pick up the car and put it right back on their lot and sell it again. And they're not, Bob's Used Cars is not reporting that data to anyone.
I'm pretty sure they're not. Yeah, it to me it's just an ugly situation where there's just a higher percentage of people struggling today than in the years past. You can't have credit card debt in excess of $1 trillion and think that people aren't living well above their means. It is just it's ripe for a huge decline in what people can actually afford. And, some people might have to start making adjustments. And what are they going to adjust? I don't know. I think credit markets will be, um, I'll phrase it this way, where it said in that article that they might stabilize or might go down. As a friend of mine used to say to me, he says, mites live in chicken coops and cat's ears. Okay. Mite doesn't mean anything. So I think you have to look at the reality, and the reality is that every indicator is that delinquencies are higher than they have been. And there's no reason to suspect at the moment that that's going to slow down. The reasons to suspect that it might get worse, I think, are greater than the reasons to suspect that it might slow down.
All right, new channel right here. So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe. It's free for you, and it really helps us out.
Okay.
All right, Ray, one of the data points that they also want to pick out in this article is that we also still have very high monthly payments, but they're saying that they are starting to come down a little bit, especially on the used side. I'm not necessarily seeing that from the used cars on the upper end of the spectrum coming down all that much. And then if we get this X factor of the tariffs, that's not going to be anything helpful, because the higher end used vehicles that they're pulling these monthly payments for, they're going to go up. And that's because if you have new cars that go up, well, it's going to be the same thing that we saw 2-3 years ago, that you're going to increase the demand on the higher end side of used cars. So if they're trying to use this as a data point, saying that delinquency rates go down, I think this is also BS. I think we can throw that out too, because no matter what happens in the system, I don't see the higher end used car prices and the higher end used car monthly payments, because also interest rates not going down. They're not going to come down in any kind of substantial way to help this delinquency problem that we're dealing with right now.
So 2 years ago, I think December, the average new car payment at that time was like $795. It's come down, folks, $756. The average used car payment at that same time was about $575. It has come down, folks. $550. How much do you think it's going to go down to where it's going to compensate for that cost of eggs? It's not. Okay, I don't know what dream world they're living in, going, oh yeah, well the average car payments are going down. Oh yeah, not substantially. I mean, it would have to go down a couple $100 a month to make a difference for people, not $10 a month or $20 a month. That's not, if your food went up $20 a month and your car payment went down $10 a month, well, net, you still spent $10 more that month than you would have the month before. So I don't, I said this on a show last week, but apparently I have to be careful when I say this. Apparently some of these talking heads, some of these experts are smoking crack. I just, because I don't know how they come to the conclusions that they come to based on what any of us can see with just by looking. I mean, I go to the supermarket. I live by myself. It's not like I buy a lot of stuff, but my God, I walk out with one bag and I spent $65 and there's nothing in the damn bag. Everything is expensive. So I don't know. Do these people not shop? Do they not go to the grocery store? Do they not go anywhere? Because everything I see indicates just the opposite of what they're talking about.
Yeah, and the thing about it too, with the delinquencies up, the repos up, we still haven't seen all of the repos that are coming. There is still a shortage of these tow truck drivers to go get these cars. It's been now about 1.5 years since this was first reported that Wells Fargo and Toyota Financial, I believe, was the other financial services that were paying tow truck drivers an extra $500 to get at the front of the line to go pick up their cars. This is still a situation that is a problem right now in the market. And really the rates that we're seeing right now, I still feel like just tip of the iceberg, and it's going to get way, way, way worse from here.
You know, I don't really foresee used car prices going down significantly, especially if there's tariffs. If certain new cars are going to go up in value, if there's a mid-year price increase, that's going to impact the value of the used cars. It just is. Now, it might not mean that the dealer is going to give you more for your used car when you trade it in, but it sure as hell means they're going to ask more for that used car when they go to sell it. That's their leverage.
All right. I'm done talking about this. You good? You good on that topic?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right, I got a funny story for you. I think you're going to appreciate this. So we got two questions, both from Jason. Jason's, how is my Model S doing? Am I still loving it? I've got a Tesla Model S, but I also have a Tesla Model 3, and I got to tell you about this stupid car array.
Okay.
So I've let it sit since I got the 3 to do some videos, and then I found the S because that's the one I wanted. I let the Model 3 just sit at my dealership, like beside the building, for like 6 months. So what happened during that time, there wasn't a whole lot of charge on it when I sat there. My fault.
Yeah.
But it completely died. And also, since we've had some cold weather, it also has a 12-volt battery.
Yeah.
12-volt battery, a 12-volt battery that's in the front of this car to power like the doors so you can get in them. A lot of some of the small electronics, and even the I guess the communication between letting the car know that it's actually being plugged in to be charged. So if you can put that together, that means that if this battery is dead, I can't charge the car.
Okay.
This is the small battery. So I went out to charge this car because I was like, okay, I got to do something with it. It's just money sitting here. We just need to sell it, dump it, whatever. If I lose some money on it, I just need to get rid of it. I'm tired of looking at it. Every time I walk in, I just put it to the side. So I tried to get in it, couldn't open the doors. I tried the key that it came with, and I also tried my phone, which is also my key. Nothing's responding, so I can't open this car door. I can't open anything about this car because it's completely dead. But I can open manually the charge door.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, it's just dead. The main battery's dead, so I'll plug it up. Plugged it up. Light on the charger came on, but the light connected to the car did not come on. So the car's not recognizing that it's in there. So I looked up, did some research, and I found out that you cannot charge this stupid car unless the battery up front is fully charged or at least has some charge on it. So that means I have to get to this battery then to replace it or to jump it off just so I can open the car so I can then maybe charge it. So it doesn't have a key. So there's nothing that's accessible in this Tesla. So here's how you get to this battery. So you can either change it or jump it off to be able to open the doors.
Yeah.
There's a little hole, tiny little hole on the front of this car. So you can pop this little thing off, and then you can pull a positive and a negative wire out of the front of this Tesla.
Okay.
And then you have to jump off those two wires. And that doesn't jump off the car. It doesn't jump off the battery. It jumps off the ability to unlock the latch on the front trunk.
Yes.
So then that pops open. I can then open that up, move a couple of plastic pieces. Then I can get to the actual battery to jump that battery off.
Okay.
To then allow the car to charge. But if your 12-volt battery is completely dead, it still will not charge the car. So I'm like, no problem. I know how to change the battery. Took the battery out, looked online. The only place you can get this battery is from a Tesla service center.
Oh, my God.
So let me go through this whole thing again. To get to the battery, I had to jump off the frunk.
Yeah.
Then I had to jump off the battery. Then I had to realize that I can't charge the battery, the main battery. Now I have to replace the battery. But to replace the battery, I have to go to Tesla.
Are they overpriced?
I don't know. That's the part in the story I'm at right now, because I threw up my hands when I got to that point, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore today.
So at least if I hear what you're saying, At least some engineer at Tesla said there's going to be somebody that's not going to charge the vehicle when he should, and then is going to let the 12-volt battery run out so that he can't even access the battery to be able to replace it or charge it so that they could then charge the vehicle. And so they came up with that little hole thing in the front bumper so that you could at least get the frunk lid to open.
The frunk, yep.
Yeah. So kudos to that engineer who said, there's a Brandon out there somewhere.
And let my car sit.
Yeah, that's just going to let his car sit, and we have to come up with a workaround so he can at least get into the frunk to eventually get into the 12-volt battery, so that eventually, after he gets so aggravated that he takes another day or two to actually find out what a new battery is going to cost, and that he's got to go to a Tesla service center to get it. I'm hoping that there's one of those in Charlotte, maybe.
There's one about 45 minutes from where I am. And Owen says, easy fix, trickle charge. Yeah, I'm a car dealer for 14 years. You think I would have thought about that? The battery is completely dead, will not hold any charge. It's shot. It's done. No, not an easy fix. It just, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. So, okay. Anyways, let's go to the second part of this question. So, how is my Model S? I still like my Model S. Here's the problems with the Model S right now. My driver door, the handle will not open. The door is offline. Okay. I've got a popping noise coming from the front of it. The trunk has recently broken where if I open it, it won't shut all the way unless I hit the right bump, and then it'll close. So the car just beeps going down the road until I find that magical bump to close it. What else do we got? The seat belts aren't great. When I have my son in the car seat in the back, we have to finagle him a certain way to get it in there. There's something else wrong with it that I'm not remembering. Anyway, I got all this stuff. I got to fix stuff on that car too. I enjoy driving it. I don't know if it's worth all the quality issues that I'm dealing with in this car that was $100,000 5 years ago. I didn't pay that for it. I paid $20,000 for this car, but $100,000 car should not have all these things breaking in it 5 months later. Oh, also, the main battery in this Model S has already been replaced. And that was $15,000 if it wasn't under warranty.
Wow.
Yeah.
But other than that, you love your Teslas.
But other than that, it's great. All right. Let's see here. Ally Jack asked me, Brandon, do you buy cars from private sellers? No, I don't. Typically, I might buy one a year from someone who's just trying to get out of a car, and they'll take whatever we'll give them for it, and they have some kind of situation where they just need to sell a car. If I feel bad for somebody and they have to do that or whatever, then I'll buy it, and because they're going to get ripped off from somebody else, and I'm not going to do that. But no, I don't like to do that because I have to explain to people that come in and say, look, I can buy cars at wholesale prices. So you can absolutely go and sell this car to an individual and get way more money for it. So that's the message that we give to people that want to come in, even trade-ins. We don't take trade-ins. We can make a lot of money getting trade-ins from people, but I don't want to rip people off. And for me to buy their car from them and make the kind of money that I want to make on cars, the way that I can buy them so cheaply from auction, I would have to rip somebody off to do that. So I don't buy cars from private people. Private people from private sellers. There we go.
Them too. Yeah.
Yeah, them too. Let's see here. That's not a question. Oh my goodness, people. Don't give us any money. James G gave you $10, Ray. What's the difference between diesel and a V8? I mean, a V8's the size of the motor. Diesel is the type of gas that it uses, type of fuel that it uses. Yeah. I have been considering which type to buy. Do either of you have experience with both? I will not be towing on a regular basis. I am looking at a new GMC. I think you have to look at what you're towing. I mean, diesel is better for more longer. If you're going to put a ton of miles on a vehicle, on a truck, I would say diesel for that. But if you're just using it to pull a trailer,
Occasionally.
yeah, occasionally, vacation. If you're not using it for work, then I would just go with the V8. I mean, GMs have been having trouble with their 6.2s though, so you need to look into it. They've been imploding on themselves and then throwing rods out the side. So do your research. I would be scared. I would be scared of some of these newer trucks, honestly.
So talking about a lot of vehicles that way.
Yeah. I think now we got other people. Okay, I'm cutting off all the questions. We got 2 more people that sent us money. Don't send us money. I'm cutting it off right here. Don't send us anything else. We're done after this. Okay, James. As a used auto dealership owner and as someone who ran a dealership, does diesel really make more for you as the dealer? It appears it is a myth. Can you
Not
explain
sure
this
I
question?
understand what that question means.
Does diesel really make for you as a dealer? Make more for you as a dealer?
Well, a new diesel vehicle has an invoice price, just like a new gasoline engine vehicle has an invoice price. My suspicion would be that the margins and the markups are identical, whether it be a diesel vehicle or a gasoline powered vehicle.
I think typically diesel trucks usually range a little bit higher. So let's rephrase this. Maybe this is kind of what I think he's asking. The higher the price of the vehicle, does it make for more money for the dealership?
Well, sure. The higher the price of the vehicle, the if a vehicle is $100,000 and there's $10,000 margin in it, that means that it cost the dealer $90,000. If the diesel was 100,000 and the gasoline powered one was 95,000, so there's just a little more margin in the diesel vehicle than there would be in the gas powered vehicle. So yes, the more expensive the vehicle, the greater the potential for profit.
If you liked what you saw today, do us a favor right here at CarSense. Like and subscribe. We're new. We're growing. You can't do without us.